Hey there, grade 5, this is Mr. B, and I'm back in Russian mode. So, what are we doing? Well, we are going to learn about calculating end times. Not the end times as in the apocalypse, meteor coming, whatever, us getting uh, things happening. We're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about end times as in the time that something ends. So, yeah, from here to here, right? We're just trying to figure out the end time, not the end times. So, what do we first have to do? First, we want to review some 24-hour stuff. 24-hour clock. It has a clock with 24 hours. Simple enough, I guess. When we want to convert 24 hours into, or 12-hour clock into 24 hours, that's something that we should just quickly review. So, if I have a time like 2:15 p.m., then I'm going to look here. And so the deal with 24-hour clocks versus 12-hour clocks, which we had over here, is that a 12-hour clock resets every time it gets to 12. So at midnight and at noon, right? So at noon it resets and starts going back up in hours. And at midnight it resets and starts going back in hours. And the way it resets and the way we know which cycle it's on is we say AM and PM. So AM is from midnight to noon and PM is from noon to midnight. And with a 24-hour clock, it only resets at the beginning of a new day instead of resetting during the day once. So instead of having two different cycles, it just has one longer cycle. And so, yeah, you only reset when you get to 24 hours rather than 12. So when we see this PM, what we know is that we are in the second cycle. And on a 24-hour clock, that means we have not reset. And so we're 2 hours past the 12. And so all we have to do when we see a PM like this is we add 12 hours on. And so this will give us 14 o'clock or 15 minutes past 14 hours. And so that is what we have, a quarter past 14. And this would be our 24-hour time. Now, if this was an AM, right, if we had 2:15 AM, we would not add 12 because it's AM. It's still in the first cycle. And that means that you don't reset. Because resetting only occurs when you are, resetting occurs in the second cycle. So in our case, if it was 2 a.m., this is 2 in the morning, it's actually, in the Army time, it's also going to be 2:15, right? We just don't have the a.m. there. And you don't necessarily need the 0, but it's there sometimes. So yeah, it's just 2:15 because this is 2 hours and 15 minutes past midnight. And this is also 2 hours and 15 minutes past midnight. When you're here, this one is saying that it's 2 hours and 15 minutes past midday. And here, this one here, is saying that it's 14 hours and 15 minutes past midnight because it does not reset. No reset, right? It doesn't reset at noon, so it keeps going. When it gets to 12 noon, the next hour is 13 o'clock because it doesn't reset. Unlike a 12-hour clock that when it gets to 12 noon, it goes to 1 p.m. Right? So that's the big deal. We have to remember that when you see PM, you make sure that you add 12 hours if you're converting it to a 24-hour clock. So if you see 4:30 p.m., right? And how about we just do 11:30 a.m. What you're going to do is when you see the PM, you add 12 hours to the hour number. So you're going to add 12, and that's going to give you 16, 16:30. And here you are not going to do anything because you're in the AM time. So you are before, you're before midday or noon. So it hasn't reset yet. So you don't have to add anything. This is 11:30, and that is how you say it, and that's how it is. It's no different on the 24-hour clock because this clock has not reset yet, and so they're the same until the PM. So only when you see a PM is when you reset. Okay, good. I'm happy you're with me. So, calculating end times on a 24-hour clock. Now, the reason why we like to use the 24-hour clock is because it makes math a lot simpler. So, if we wanted to say, how about a very long math class, it starts at, let's just say, how about 9:30, even though our math class normally starts at 9:55, and then we add onto it 1 hour and 20 minutes. 1 hour and 20 minutes. And you can write this out like this too if you want. That makes it simpler. All we have to do here is add, right? So you just write your time here, 9:30, and you're adding 1 hour and 20 minutes, right? And this will give you your answer. 0 plus 0. This will be 5, and this will be 10, right? 9 plus 1, you go over, and you get 10. So that is that, and this will be the end time. So if math class starts at 9:30, and then it takes an hour and 20 minutes, it'll be done at 10:50. So you see how that works? Now, sometimes what happens if we took this 10:50, right? Let's just take the 10:50 here, and then we said, okay, now you have a 25-minute lunch, right? Plus a 25-minute lunch. So you put the 25 minutes over here, right? So you put the 25 minutes here. This is 0, 0, and then you add this, right? So what time is your break going to end at? Well, 0 plus 5 is 5, and 2 plus 5 is 7. And then you have this, right? 10:75. Now, something should be going off in your head when you see a 75, right? What is up with hours? An hour is only 60 minutes, right? So you actually can't have 10:75. It's okay if you get an answer like this, but what we have to do when we see an answer like this is we have to convert this 75 minutes into hours. So what we can do is simply see how many hours can we get out of 75. And you can do this by dividing, but honestly, most of the time, you're going to be dealing with just one time. It'll be 60, because normally you won't be adding anything that'll be too big. That'll go it almost never. So it'll normally only be one time, so you'll have to subtract 60 from it. But you can do it just to show here that this will leave you with 15, and it doesn't go in there, so remainder 15. So what will happen here is this will actually go to 11 hours, right? 11 hours and 15 minutes, because you have 1 hour and 15 minutes remaining. So that would be at 11:15. And you can see quite clearly that if you do 75 minus 60, you're going to be left with 15, and you're just taking one of the hours, you're regrouping basically, and you're taking 1 hour and plopping it over here, and then you get this answer like that. So let's do a few more of these regrouping ones, because it's kind of important that we figure this out. So if I have a time like this, or if I get an answer like this, well, how would I regroup? Well, I see this, I know that I need to regroup, because if it's over 59, basically, it should be in the hour column, because if you have 60 minutes, you should make it into an hour. So we have 83. Now what I do is I just take this 83, I subtract 60 from it, and that will equal 23, right? And you can do this just by, if you need help or need to do this in the long way. Oh, that was that obviously doesn't want to go, but we just do this, you'll get 3 and then 2, and that's your answer, right? There you go. So let's do another one. 10:72 again, you see that it's over 60. We're going to want to go 72 minus 60, and that equals 12. You can see it here if you want. Again, 1, 2, right? That's just all you have to do. And your answer is going to be, right, when you convert this, is going to be, sorry, this one I should have said it becomes 1023. You see that? You add the hour that you take away. So you're taking 60 away, which is equal to an hour. So you're taking 1 hour away, and you're plopping it in here. And what you're left with, now that goes in the minutes box, right? So that's how it works. And here, see, we have 12 left. So we've taken 1 hour, we've taken 60 of the minutes, basically grabbed them up. And now we're going to put them in the hour spot instead. We're converting that. So it's 11, and then you're going to have, I don't know why things aren't erasing anymore, but that is what's happening. And then you have 12 minutes over, so it'll actually be 12 minutes past 11, right? And we'll do one more just for the sake of figuring it out. 14, 91. Okay, so we see here this is clearly over 60. So what we do is we take 91, we minus 60, we're left with 31, right? Because yeah, you could, again, I don't know why nothing's erasing anymore, but yeah, you get 31 because 0 minus 1 is 1, and 6 minus 9 is 3, and so you get 31, and that goes here. And then this 60, what we were doing was making an hour, so it's gonna go here, and then we'll have 15 hours, right? One more hour added on to here, and then 31 minutes left over. Perfect. So I hope you guys understand that. Ask questions if you don't. That is quite important to get. So when we want to learn end times, this is why it becomes very important. As you'll see, I'll just have to delete all that. Okay, nothing wants to delete. There we go. So, yeah, so you'll have to sometimes add things. So say a lesson starts and at 12:35, and it adds on, and it lasts 1 hour and 30 minutes, right? So this is when it starts, and it lasts 1 hour and 30 minutes. So when we add this up, we'll get 5, we'll have 6, and we'll have 13. Now, when you get an answer like this, right, again, you want to see here, and you're going to want to change this, convert this. Now we just know that when we see it over, all we have to do is we take 60 of the minutes, so we minus this by 60, and then we will be left with just 5. And so what we'll get is we'll take the 60 that we took, we're just taking it, and we're throwing it onto the 13, which will make another hour, which is going to be 14. And then we take the 5 minutes, and we just say there's 5 minutes left after we take it and convert it. So yeah, that's really important. That's the main reason you need to know about this converting thing. So make sure you practice that. That's really, really, really important. Yes, so now for the main part of our lesson. I'll just add a page here. So let's look. So a TV program starts at 9. So right now we're going to try and learn how much time has passed. So time elapsed, that's what it's called. Time elapsed. You see that? Time elapsed. This word here means the time that has passed, right? It's time passed. So when you see that, it's how much time has passed. And so what we want to know, you see that maybe a show starts at 9 o'clock and it goes till 11. Now the question is, how much time was in between? Now some of you can figure this out pretty quickly, but we're just going to quickly think about this. So if we have 11 and 9, to figure out in between, right, before we knew how much time was in between, and we added what was in between to find out the end. Now we have the start time, right, start, and we have end time. What we want to do is we want to we want to add or we want to subtract these to find out how much time took place in between. So all we do is we just go 11. So you have to make sure you put the end time on top, because otherwise you'll get negative numbers and it won't be correct. And you get here 11 minus 9. And what will we be left with? Well, we'll be left with 2 hours, right? So 2 hours passed. So this TV show, if we said that this was a TV show, was 2 hours long, right? So that's that. So now if we look at another one, we can just go, it was 1430 to 1755, and then now all we have to do again, you take the bigger one and you and so this, if the question asks how much time, how long did it take, or how much time, or how much time did passed, right? Then I'm just gonna, much time passed. Then all you're going to do is you're going to subtract, right? So 1755 minus 1430, and what you'll get is, you'll do this, and then, oh no, sorry, not like that. You'll get 5 here, you'll get 2 here, and then you'll see 3 here, and this is 0, and that's your answer, right? So you're just subtracting. Make sure you're subtracting when you're trying to find out time elapsed, and that is what you get. Now sometimes you might have to regroup, right? So this is kind of important. So sometimes you have 3 hours, let's just say, when you're regrouping, right, in subtraction, you have to take from somewhere else. So we have to remember that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, right? So that's really important to remember. So if we have a time like 3:15, what it's equal to is 3 hours, right? So what it's saying is it's 3 hours plus 15 minutes, right? That's what this is basically saying. It's 3 hours plus 15 minutes. And what we can do, right, if we need to, is we can take one of these hours away and we can bring it over here by converting it to minutes. So that would be plus 60, right? Add 60 minutes. So this is equal to 2 hours and plus 75 minutes, because 15 plus 60, it's 2 hours and 75 minutes. And this would be just regrouping so that you can solve things, right? So if I just take, just for another example, if we had 4 hours and let's just say 8 minutes, and we needed to regroup, we could take one of these, we could bring it over, right? We could bring the 60 over because it takes 60 minutes, so we're converting 1 hour into 60 minutes, and we could add 60 to this. So we add it on, and we'll end up with 3 hours and 68 minutes. And this allows us to subtract more. So let's just do an example of when this would be needed. So if you had a time, like how much time has elapsed between 1720 and 1450, what you're going to do here, you see, you'll run into a problem, right? You'll get the 0 here, and then 5 subtract 2? No. So what you're going to do, just like in regular math, you're going to go over the next number and you cross that out. You're going to have 16 hours now, and you're bringing 1 hour over. Now, in normal math, you would just add a 1 because you're bringing a 10 over, but in this case, you're bringing 60 over, right? Now you could really, what you can do is you can just write a 6 here and add these two together, so you'll get 80, right? So this is these are kind of together, and this will be 80 minus 5, or 8 minus 5, which is 3, right? So
you're adding 60 minutes to here, and so this will give you 80 instead of 20, right? Because 60 plus 20 is 80. And then you will get 50 minus 80 is 30, like just like 5 minus 8 is 3. And then you'll come over here and you'll get 2, and here's 0. Right, and we'll do one more just to cement this. Right, so 9:45 to 12:25. So again, we'll just do it over here. Remember, you got to put the big number on top, 12:25, and then you go 9:45, right? And so you're going to subtract these, and you go here. This is going to be 0. Then you come here, and you can't do it. So what you have to do is you have to take an hour over, and that's 60 minutes. So you're adding a 6 here, and this will be 8 again. You see, you're adding 6 to that too, which is going to be 8. And then 8 minus 4 is 4. And then 11 minus 9 is 2. And then you get 2 hours and 40 minutes that pass. So in between here and here is 2 hours and 40 minutes. So that is the idea there. So I hope you understand that part. Sometimes, right, we might have to convert time. So if I have something like this, for example, right, if it's 8:24 a.m. and the show, or maybe it was we were watching the Olympics and we watched it till 4:20, or maybe we had a sports day, we were playing rugby all day at a big tournament, and 4:20 p.m. and this is when it ended. What am I going to have to do? Well, I can't do this, right? Because this would be kind of bonkers if we tried this, right? This is not going to work. And this would not give us the correct answer because it is not properly converted. So you have to convert. If you see this and you have to find elapsed time, you have to convert it to the 24-hour clock. So you can't do it in the 12-hour clock. You need to do it in the 24-hour clock. So we change this one. Remember, we see AM, and we're not going to change it much. We're going to keep it 8:24, and then we're saying it goes till here, and then this one, PM, it sends off the alert, and we know that we have to add 12 to that because this one reset, and so we need 12 extra. And so this is 16:20, right? And now we can do it, right? Now we can do it. And this is why I believe that the 24-hour clock is a lot better. In a lot of countries around the world, they just use the 24-hour clock all the time. And yeah, to be totally honest, it makes a lot more sense than if you cut this clock out, you wouldn't have to do this conversion. But anyways, the conversion is not too difficult, thankfully, so we can do it. And this is the one that we use here in Canada often. So we just need to deal with it, I guess, and convert. Right. So what we do here is we do 16:20, subtracting 8:24. So 4 minus 0. Well, that's a problem, right? So we need to go here. We bring this to 1, and in this case, right, we're converting minutes to minutes. So this is where things get a little bit complicated. You kind of have to keep all these things in your mind. This is minutes to minutes. This will actually be 10 minutes over here when you're converting over. And what you have to see is that there's sort of a dividing line here. That's what the colon in between means. These are kind of in different units, and they're displayed on the same line. And so when you cross this line, that's when you have to do conversion. Otherwise, there is no conversion. But yeah, just to make that point, right? So this will be 10. 10 minus 4 is going to be 6, right? And just remember to make our subtraction here. So 6, and then we come here. 2 minus 1. Well, we can't do that. So we come here, and we have 5. We bring it over. Now again, remember, we're crossing the line. So these are hours, these are minutes. When we cross the line, it changes, right? If it was all in hours, it would be one thing, but this is hours and minutes, right? So hours, minutes. We can't convert it, so it's actually going to be 6 here. We're bringing a 6. It's really 60. but we can mostly focus in this column. 6 plus 1 is 7. So yeah, we could just, we kind of bring these ones are grouped together. 7 minus 2 is going to be 5. And then 15 minus 8, we go here. We realize we can't do it. Now, technically, you could chop that off and just put there. So it's 15 minus 8. And that is going to be 7, right? So 15 minus 8. And if you're struggling with 15 minus 8, remember, you just, when you do 15 minus 8, what you can do is you can recognize how many we need to go down by. So you can do 8 minus 5, right? And that would leave you with 3. And then that would put you at 10, and 10 minus 3 equals 7, right? So you kind of break this up into 5 and 3, right? Or sorry, 5 and 10 rather. And then you subtract them by 8. But I think most of you should have this kind of figured out, and you can count it out even if you have to. But yeah, so this is where you end up with 7 hours and 56 minutes have passed. So yeah, that's basically the main thing we need to remember. We can do one final one just to. No, I think you guys have enough. Actually, I don't want to drag this video on too long. I hope that was fun and entertaining, and that you learned lots there, and that you're having a good day. Bye bye. Have a great Monday. Ciao.